You are now listening to Orion and Mix.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Thank You Five podcast, Christmas edition. Today, a special guest, Miss Dawn Belton.
Hey.
Dawn. Now,
Hi.
she didn't know I was going to do this, but I'm going to brag real quick about Dawn.
Oh gosh, don't brag.
One of the best people I know.
Oh.
I'm saying Dawn models, right?
Yeah.
Is part of the Student Government Association at Bowie State. Just tell the people what it is that your position is at Bowie State.
I don't mean to brag, but I was Miss Freshman for the 2019-2020 year, and I am the Miss Sophomore for the 2020-2021 year. That's a lot of 2020s to say, but hey man, we live in a world of a pandemic, and we don't know what 2021 is going to bring.
3 years, though, that she was the Miss, right? That's 2 straight years. Dawn is also a theater major like me. She's also an actor like me. And if you haven't seen Dawn act, then you missed out. I've had the fortune and pleasure of being Dawn's director for even though it was just a stage reading. Like, the people loved it.
They really did. I was shocked.
If we're being honest, when we did those stage readings, like Top Dog Underdog was kind of like one of the favorites. Like, I'm just saying. And I mean, a great play is nothing without great actors. So, shouts outs to Dawn for killing it.
I try, we live in a pandemic. We've been living in this for almost 9 months to be exact.
It's been 9 months.
It's been 9 months. March will make 1 year.
Oh man.
And it doesn't seem like it seems like it's been forever. And this fact that so much stuff happened last year and just the beginning of this year, like from January to March, and it has not ended and it just kept increasing is literally insane.
I will say though, thankfully, I mean, July through like September was kind of trash for me.
Really?
Well, because you gotta remember, July is when I got hurt.
Oh yeah.
Literally got hurt on July 1st. So like that whole month is gone.
That was a sad time. I was really concerned.
It really, yeah. July was like that first month. August was still kind of weird. I think I had just started going to physical therapy a couple weeks before school started. Then virtual school starts.
And it's just
been, it just seemed, after a while, it just seemed like every day kind of just bled into the next day. And it just felt like days of the week. It didn't feel like Monday. It didn't feel like Sunday through Saturday.
It was a point in time where I lost the days of the week. I said, wait, it's Saturday? I thought it was Monday.
Yeah.
Waking up thinking I had class. And I was like, wait.
Right. My mother would have to tell me like, yo, it's such and such day, because she still works. So she knew what days it was. I didn't, because I was literally always in the house. Having to deal with this in a pandemic also sucked, because now you can't see nobody because you think.
And you can't meet any of your classmates or really get to know who's in your class.
Right. And it's stupid for theater majors to have to do school virtually. You can't teach theater.
Don't get me started on how they expect us to do these monologues and show emotion on the front of a camera to our class so they can understand. That is the hardest thing.
This is not,
we're not 2020.
Not making films here. Like,
It's just talking. All we're doing is talking and sitting and listening. And half the time the teachers just teach and I fall asleep. I'm not even gonna lie. There's been times where I've literally fell asleep during the class and I've gotten called on and I was knocked out. And I said, wow.
I believe it. I believe it wholeheartedly.
And it's kind of sad to say, but it's the truth.
I can say though still that I'm thankful that I've still managed to be able to create. As like I was saying about Dawn's modeling tip, I've seen some of the footage. Like, they're about that action, and she does something that's very much unique in terms of modeling. You do what is called urban modeling.
Yes, urban modeling.
Go into what makes urban modeling so different as opposed to a simple walk down the runway, walk back up in different outfits.
All right. So there are three, not one, not two, but three types of modeling that exist. You have professional modeling, where you model in these expensive photo shoots for brands such as Tom Ford. We're talking Off-White, maybe Nike, maybe Burberry, Gucci, the huge brands that bring in a lot of money, and maybe Versace too. And you would be a professional model. You would just really be walking down a runway. Literally, it could be a mile or 2 mile runway. And you're just walking to sell the clothes. And usually they're clothes that, I can't buy because, we're not going to get to that, but they're really expensive clothes. And the models, they get a lot of fame from it, sometimes from their facial structure, how they walk, how they present their attitude, how they present their personality. That's professional modeling. Photo shoot modeling. Photo shoot modeling is where you're literally just posing and modeling for pictures, such as if it's Nike, you're modeling for the shoes, or if it's a video shoot, you're modeling for the clothes, or even stuff like Forever 21, H&M, things like that. They do have fashion shows, but that's considered photo shoot modeling because they're literally just trying to sell the clothes. That's what their whole plan is, to try to sell clothes, to bring in more money, to bring in more reimbursements, and to put out different styles that people may be interested in. Now, my favorite scene of all time, just because I have been modeling for about 4 years, counting on to 5 next year. 2021 will be my 5-year anniversary of when I started modeling. Ooh, urban modeling. It started originally in New York City, where you would have balls and people from the LGBTQ community would be in a safe haven and feel free to express themselves. So when it came to DC, Maryland, and Virginia, it was balls, it was teams, it was just so much out there, especially for me. I used to model at my high school, Suitland High School. Yes, I went to Suitland, home of the Rams. I'm not gonna get into that. And I modeled for this team called PASC. And then PASC, a year after I joined the team, became EOE, Extraordinary Entertainment, where I was deemed legendary LEOV. I am the second reigning queen and the co-captain of the team from the 2018-2019 year. It was a pretty rough year for me, but we won't really get into that. And then this year, I've been on this team before, but I recently just joined Urban Couture. It's a team that started at Virginia State University on August 28th, 2012. And in 2018 of October, it came to Washington, D.C. So they have 2 branches. And hopefully next year, if the campus does open up, they can have their 3rd branch here at Bowie State University. But urban modeling is where you're dancing in heels. Yes, we are talking 6 to 7 inch heels, honey. 6 to 7 inch heels. We are talking pumps like this. So you're taught to walk in them, dance in them, and you're really taught how to battle. So battling, where I mentioned the balls, battling is where you're also getting your name out there, but you're also representing your team. And I have the honor of representing my team, Urban Couture, at my first ball while being a part of the team on this ball. It's on December 12th, so I'll make sure to send you that information so you can tune in on the live and stuff. But you kind of see the difference. Urban modeling is not really out there as much because we don't get much recognition. It's more of the professional and the photography and videography modeling that gets more recognition than what we do here, sadly.
Right. Where do you so I'm assuming you guys practice at a other location, like locally in the area.
Well, it's not locally in Bowie, but it's more in Temple Hills. That's where we practice at. So it's kind of in an area where it's kind of, how do I say this? It's kind of near a construction site and not too far from where people sell cars, around that area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, pandemic aside, when you would go to these things, or if even from what you see, I'm assuming there'd be a lot of other artists there that not necessarily they model, but they just create stuff. So whether they be photographers or even like designers and stuff.
Yes, so we actually have a few members on our team who have their own brands and businesses, and we even have a production person who's in charge of making all the productions, writing everything down. So they're really in charge of creating what will be the shows and how the shows will go down, what the outfits would be. And then for the models, sometimes we can pitch in and give out some ideas of things we want to do. Especially when it comes to balls, it's really about us picking out, like if we're chosen to participate in a ball, we literally have to find something creative to wear. I can also send you some footage that you can see where models have actually put on some creative stuff. So in a modeling, I mean, in a battle that I plan on participating in, well, more like the bowl, I plan on participating in on December 12th, you have categories. And categories is where people, if they feel comfortable with walking in the category, they feel comfortable with stepping outside the box, such as female figure, all-American, diva, devo, technique, then you get the chance to walk the ball. But it's all about if the judges love you. So if they put up 10s, that means you can go on in the category and go on to try to win the battle. But if they say cut, or they put up something like, say they put up a brush and that represents cut, that means you can no longer battle in this category. It's kind of weird, but it's just kind of like a mini competition against different teams.
Right, because that sounds like a lot of variables, and it sounds like it's a lot more vast than what people may normally see.
It's very fast, but they can last long. Sometimes balls can start at 6 o'clock and not end till 12 or 1 o'clock.
Really?
Yes.
Now, this is kind of just speaking from a guy's perspective. Do men wear heels too? Like, they're fine with that?
It's usually the ones who are part of the LGBTQ community
Right.
who are really comfortable with touching on their feminism. So we do have a few people on our team that will walk in heels, or they're beginning to walk in heels because they really want to break in their feminism while on the team. So it's fun to see, just to see anybody in any way, shape, or form be able to step out their box and really model and just be themselves and feel comfortable enough to be themselves around a team.
Right, because I'll give it to them, men or women, walking. From what I even see, walking in those heels seems like the one of the hardest things to do. I still don't fully understand like how y'all can, like, your foot will be way up here, your toes are just like this, and then you.
Oh my God. Did you want to see one? I could get one of my heels if you would like, so you can see
Please.
me. I'm sorry.
I don't understand just how that's possible.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy because a lot of people ask me that. So, oh, Jesus. So this is our team heel, as you can see. So this is a 7-inch heel, 7 inches.
7 inches.
This is 7, right here is 7 inches.
Over half a foot.
Over half a foot. Literally, if you've seen Lady Gaga at the Met Galas and things, and when she's performing, she wears 12 inches. So hers be maybe like right here. I don't want to over exaggerate it, but so the thing is, when we wear these heels, the support comes from the platform. So when we wear this, like we put the heel on, we get the support for the platform to keep our foot arch and everything. I'm so used to it, so it doesn't really hurt as much. But for some people, when they first get them, it does hurt. Like when you're trying to break in a new shoe, it's gonna hurt the first few times you try to walk in it because your foot is not used to the shoe yet. So once you finally break into it and you become comfortable with it, as you can see, I've kind of broken into it a little bit. So when you walk, you kind of walk like heel toe, heel toe, heel toe, heel toe. It kind of looks like bouncing sheep, but you see, it's kind of a heel toe. So you really get the support from the platform, but you have to walk with your heel first. So when you're doing it, it's kind of like a back and forth kind of move. So
For the sake of, is that for the sake of balance, or is that for the sake of technique? Because
so for oh, go ahead. Sorry.
so I used to be in ROTC in high school, and when they would have us march, we had these like real hard sole shoes, and we would have to march heel toe for the sake of it kind of helped us keep in time, because you would hear like just the click.
Yeah, that's definitely what it does. So when we walk, it's kind of like a kind of like that. So we walk on 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So when we flood, we're all on the same foot. Because we also have to pay attention when we're flooding, but we also have to make sure we're looking at ourselves and like trying to make sure our walk is on the right tempo. So usually in songs we can switch up the tempo of our walk, but it's always a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, kind of like military.
Is flood just when people walk together?
Yes, we walk together on the same foot. We do the same thing. So it's basically you have to redo what the person did in front of you. So let's say a person flips their hair, you have to flip your hair at that same position. So it's a little bit of military in it for sure.
Because I've been to fashion shows. I've never been to balls in terms of urban modeling. I've been to regular just fashion model shows. It's just a different environment. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
But
it's really different. So you would really have to be comfortable with stepping outside your box and stepping outside your comfort zone and being able to walk in these battles. So
honestly,
it's kind of nerve-wracking because it's just like, oh goodness, all eyes on me, basically.
it feels honestly kind of empowering, but yet it still feels tense.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there can be times we use this term called shade, and shade is usually where someone would talk about, like, you know how basically bullies would talk about you behind your back, but then try to laugh and smile in your face and say you did wonderful. That's what the term shade is for. So usually at some battles, not everyone gets equal opportunities with battling, but we have this competitive modeling confederation page. I think I said it wrong, but we have this page and they will literally, whether you want to lose a ball, they will post you just because your walk is bomb or your outfit looked good or you gave as much as you could, and that would get posted. And usually people in the CMF community, we all support one another. So it's really fun, but sometimes the judges can be shady. Sometimes it could be 4 judges, it could be 5 judges, but it's usually people that are, the judges are usually people that have been in the scene for about 5 to 10 years.
So based off of your experience, like, do you have at least the minimum requirements to be a judge if you wanted to?
I could, but no, because I would have to be a little older, like probably like 22 to 28 or older.
Right. Okay.
Because you have to be deemed icon to, you know.
I do. I remember you told me about Icon before we started this, how that whole thing worked.
Yeah.
Last thing, you know, I wouldn't say that I'm a model or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But
I mean, I always say this, anyone can model. It's all about your confidence and how you feel and how you look at yourself. So if you want to model, do it.
so, but is urban modeling something that you see a lot of plus size people do?
Now I have a story. So one member on the team, his name is Grand Prize Couture. They always, when they give us our name, they always make sure to put the team's name behind it. So instead of someone being Urban Couture, it would be like Hollywood Couture or Grand Prize Couture or Hot Topic Couture, based off your personality and what you show at practice. So Grand Prize Couture, we call him Bayomi. He has been modeling on UC since 2018. All of us have started at the same time, but I didn't get a chance to stay on a team because at the time I was in school and, you know, I was on another team. So it was just like, oh my gosh, a whole lot. So, and I was pretty much by myself going into it a little bit. So Bayomi, he is plus size, but his presence, his attitude, his style, his grace, the fact that he walks with so much confidence, he is the king. I know we don't say king, but he is the king of plus size runway because he does not care what anybody says or think. He does exactly what he needs to do. He brings out his alter ego. Every time you see Bayomi, he brings something new. It is never the same thing. It is always something out the box. Sometimes it's in that moment, but he always brings you something new. And he's amazing. He's seriously amazing at everything he does. And I'm really proud of him every time because I've never seen someone who was plus size just be so confident, especially in modeling. You don't see that a lot.
Right. Shout out to Grand Prize. Grand Prize Couture, you said is his name.
Yes.
Okay.
And this is our sign right here. So as you can see, these 2 fingers are the U. So this is my index finger and my pinky finger, that's the U. And then my thumb, my middle finger, my ring finger, that's the C. So it looks like this.
Okay. I don't want to like throw it up and then get in trouble. So just we're just gonna let you have that. So guys, as you can tell by my background, this is a Christmas edition. The whole month is dedicated to Christmas. And Don, from what I understand, Christmas is indeed the favorite holiday.
My top favorite holiday of the year.
What is it about Christmas that makes it the favorite for you? Personally, for me, it's always been the nostalgia of it. I said it on the last episode. I am all here for the Christmas commercialism. I love the commercialism of Christmas. I love everything that goes into it. For me personally, Christmas starts November 1st. if we're
For
being,
me, it starts October 31st.
that's hilarious, and I love it.
Because it's like it goes from this Halloween to have yourself a merry little Christmas. Like, because Thanksgiving is about the food, but then Christmas, the food just be hitting so different. And then the excitement of opening presents. And then I think it's because of a few movies that I said movies that I watched growing up as a kid. It really made me love Christmas so much. So much.
It's funny that you said movies because today, Don and I, well, today on the Thank You for Our podcast, we're doing another top five. Seems like the general thing that I can kind of just get away with if I run out of a format. Just top five. Okay, so we're gonna get right into this top five. Don, since you are the guest, I will let you go first with your number five. So it'll just kind of be how I've normally done it, just back and forth, five, five, four, four, et cetera, et cetera. We'll talk about them until we get to number one.
My number one or number five, which one? Number five would have to be this movie called Arthur. It came out in 2011, but it was about Santa Claus's son. Yeah, I love the concept of it and everything. I watched it over, I think I watched it like 2 or 3 months before Thanksgiving, before Christmas. And I love the concept of it. It was funny as I don't know what. I was definitely laughing my butt off, but it wasn't, it got me in this, it got me in the field, but then it was just too unrealistic.
Right.
It was a good movie, but it was just so unrealistic. And usually I like to watch movies that are a little realistic.
That was a cartoon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing some stuff about it. I never got a chance to see it. I remember the closest thing I saw to it was like Fred Claus. It was some it was I think it was like Santa Claus's brother. I think
Something like that.
Santa had a brother or something, but that was also kind of. But Arthur, your number five. I have to like put that on my list because I've heard about it, but I just never got a chance to see it.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
So my number five. Do you remember like how Disney Channel used to make original movies?
Yeah.
So this was a Disney Channel original movie. I think it came out in like the early 2000s. Twas the Night.
I don't think I've ever watched it, or if I did, I was probably like a kid.
Yeah, Twas the Night was so was in it. Just to make sure I don't get his name wrong. Well, just to give the premise first, um, there's this guy, Bryan Cranston.
The name was really familiar.
Bryan Cranston is the guy from Breaking Bad. The bald guy with the goatee and the thing with the glasses.
I know exactly what that is.
Yeah.
Love his acting so much. I really love his acting.
So he plays this he's kind of like a crook, kind of gets into it with some money people. And he comes home to his family for Christmas because he's trying to hide out. He plays like he's like the fun uncle.
Mm-hmm.
So like the uncle that got into a whole lot of stuff. Basically, Santa's sleigh crashes at their house, but Santa has this new piece of technology for delivering presents. So he has this little button that can shrink presents, them grow. So like let's say he had like 15 presents that he had delivered to one house. So instead of carrying 15 huge presents, it would be like 15 little presents that he would put down, push the button, and they would grow. So Santa lands on their house the day before Christmas. He gets knocked out. They take the button and his sled, and they're going to drop off the rest of the presents. But Nick, the uncle, decides to try to steal presents so he can pay off his debt. So overall, it's the overall premise.
Did they did that?
It wasn't dark. It wasn't anything.
Oh, okay. It sounded dark. I was like,
I promise it wasn't dark. He was just trying to make some money. Like that was all. I purely like it simply for the nostalgia of it. That was one of the ones that would always come on Disney Channel during Christmas. So that way it kind of just holds a special place in my heart. The nostalgic ones usually always do it for me. A lot of the times I could care less about the acting. I just like the movie.
yeah.
So your number 4 Christmas movie.
So number 4, I had two of my favorites.
Okay.
I was gonna say Are We There Yet? But that's because more of the ending of the movie, it was Christmas based. But it was one of my favorite movies growing up. I used to compare my dad all the time to Ice Cube. I don't know why, but I used to do that all the time. That's when I really realized I had like so much love for Ice Cube, because I didn't realize he was from NWA, and I used to love NWA so much growing up. So, or Bad Santa.
NWA. How'd you listen to them?
Let's just say my mom and dad were some really old heads, and they love listening to a lot of rap music.
That's hilarious. 5-year-old Don singing Cruising Down the Street in my 6'4".
Yeah.
And like 12-year-old Don gets to middle school talking about F the police.
The police. I'm not gonna say it, but yeah.
16-year-old Don talking about some straight out of Compton.
Straight out of Compton.
Yeah. That's hilarious. But your dad, is he kind of a thug too, or he just?
No, he's not really a thug.
So what about your dad reminded you of Ice Cube?
The beards.
Okay.
It's kind of crazy to say, but it was really the beards.
Did he kind of look like him?
A little bit.
Just the beard.
Yeah.
Are we there yet? And are we done? Like, are we there yet? I really could not. Even as a kid, I couldn't stand Lindsay and Kevin.
They were annoying.
Yeah, even as a kid, I was like, yo, why are y'all doing this to my man? Like,
I was just like, it's no reason at all why you should be this annoying. And I'm only 5 years old and you're older than me.
Y'all are just bad. Like, how did your mom not peep this? Y'all are bad. Like,
it was kind of a little sad when they saw their dad with the
other family.
That actually hurt me. I was ready to punch him. I was like, "You're so lucky I'm not in this movie."
He would have jumped out of character real quick and just. But okay, but it didn't seem like a Christmas movie though. I get at the end.
Yeah, if not that, then I say Bad Santa.
Okay.
Dark comedy, It's not one of my favorites, but everyone that I've talked to, they said they really liked Bad Santa because it was funny. I didn't really find it funny. I was just like I laughed at it, but it was just like, you're a crook.
Right.
Playing Santa.
Right.
How that work?
Are you into the dark comedies? Or is
I am. Sometimes it's funny, but then sometimes I'll be like, oh my God, did they really just say this on national TV?
Right.
It was kind of like
I've never been into like the raunchy comedy. Like, you can have a dark sense of humor, quote unquote, but anything, the raunchy stuff, I was never really into.
Yeah, it was something about dark comedy. I say comedy that just makes me think, wow, they really set this on.
Wait, who's in Bad Santa?
I haven't seen that movie in about 2 years. So I wish I could remember off the top of my head, but it would be on my top 5 just because I would watch that just in case, Christmas is kind of like taking too long to come and I just need something to lift my spirits up again. I would watch it then.
Right. I'm going to look it up right now. I see Bernie Mac.
Yeah, Bernie Mac was in it. He was in the first one.
Tony Cox. Wait, there's more than one?
Yeah, it's Bad Santa 1, 2, and I think 3. But the Bad Santa 1 was the best one.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was this one horror movie that came out around Christmas. I think it was a few years ago, about this killer Santa.
Killer Santa? The only like horror movie I remember around Christmas was something called like Krampus.
I didn't like that one at all.
You saw it though?
It was so bad.
I thought that thing was hilarious.
I thought it was a scary movie, and that was my anticipation.
Right, but that thing was so dumb. Like
I really thought it was a scary movie, and it pissed me off when it wasn't. And I was just like, I don't want to watch this.
it was supposed to be a scary movie about this Christmas demon or whatever.
And it was not scary at all. And I was just like, I'm not watching this again.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was just weird. Yeah, the stuff was like mad creepy, but it wasn't like oh my gosh, this is gonna give me nightmares. This is like, all right, this is kind of dumb because this just don't even look realistic for real, for real.
So disappointed. As I reflect on the time I wasted to watch that movie.
Thing. I remember when I first saw it and I got to like the very end, and it threw me off so bad.
I was so confused. I said, what the heck just happened?
Spoiler alert, just to throw that in there. So let's talk about it. So like what he was getting ready to throw, he threw them all into like this pit of fire, right? And then wasn't the little boy trying to like reason with him?
I think he was, but Krampus threw either Krampus. I haven't watched that movie since I've seen it because I was so disappointed.
I think he threw him in anyway. Like he was trying.
He threw him in anyway, and then the kid woke up with his family, but then they looked outside and then they saw they were in this like bulb.
I don't think they noticed. I think they saw that he looked outside and it was snowing, but when they panned out, they were in a globe. I guess that
they all looked like they were so concerned. They were like it was snowing.
Right. It's like they knew that what was going on. Didn't know, and I was like, okay, do they know what just happened? Are they actually dead? Is any of this real?
It was a weird ending, and I would rate it a 4 out of 10. The concept was cool, but terrible ending.
Right. And then like find out it was all the grandmother's fault. Like
because she was the one kid that he couldn't get to or something like that.
Something like that. I think he had gotten to every other member of her family, and then he came back for her. This is like, if that's the case, take her and leave me alone.
Take her and leave the family alone. We ain't doing it to you.
She's the one you want.
Literally.
That thing was just not good. That was your number 4.
Yep.
4. I am going to go with Home Alone 2.
That's kind of crazy because that's my number 3.
Really?
I didn't like the first one. I loved the second one. The second one?
I think the first one honestly was more iconic. The first one I think was more iconic. I see highlights of the first one than I do the second one. The second one had a lot more rooms just for jokes. Kevin in the hotel, like that whole span of him at the plaza, those
in New York, he made me love New York so much at Christmas.
I've always that's definitely a goal. Let's go to New York for Christmas, Don.
I would love that. He made me really love Christmas in New York. I've always wanted to do that.
Right.
But then Home Alone, the first one, was so darn fun. Bro, it was the... I'm sorry! It was the scene where he put the Legos on the floor and then he tried to get to the window. But when he got through the window,
it's like he stepped on everything.
He stepped on it, and his reaction was like, like he built up the anticipation.
The amount of things that would have killed, like looking at that thing, I'm like, that would have killed anybody.
I'm just like, bruh, how could any kid just have all of this set up?
But how do you think of it? How do you have that intelligence? What is that presence of mind to think of this stuff?
Just be like, they're trying to rob my house.
Because even in the second one, when they were trying to get him, and he just went to that random house. Like, how do you just come up with all of this stuff? How do they hit every single trap? Like, how do they hit every?
Bro, when he grabbed the door, I think he put like something electric around the door handle and
eating thing. He burns his hand. Like, how do you think of that? My favorite stunt from either or. So the first one, It was either the tarantula or the when he set his head on fire from the first one.
You actually made me want to watch that tonight. I actually think I'm gonna watch that and with some pizza.
I think I'm gonna watch both.
Yeah, at this point, because I have Disney Plus and I know it's on there.
Oh, period. All three. It's giving all three.
The third one was okay. I didn't really like it.
Yeah, once I saw it wasn't Macaulay, I was like, all right.
I'm like Home Alone 3, Home Alone again. I'm like, yeah, no.
They could have stopped after the second one. And then the second one, the brick, the scenes with the bricks, like, listen,
I thought you were about to say.
Don, but I tell you, I'm literally going to watch this after that too, just so I can watch that part. The bricks, like how you take like 5 bricks to the face? How do you take 5?
Yo, you know what really had me crying? But I think it was when one of them were trying to open the door and he had it set up to where you opened the door. It was either going to be a, what is it? I just had it in my head. An iron. So either it was on the top of the building or it was at the door. And whatever you did, but something was falling over from the top of the building.
You remember, even and then the paint cans, like, nah. But here's the kicker. So how he did it in the first one when he got them both with the paint cans, right? The second movie, they're going up. It was like, yo, don't you remember what happened the last time we did this? So he throws the paint cans and they both miss. So then they go up. Then he throws this huge bar. Hits them. They fall to this hole. And he cuts the rope, and the bar falls down again. Like, yo.
You just think of this at like 9 or 10 years old. Like, you really have to have a creative mind for this.
You have to be a psychopath to think of this. Let's not even talk about how terrible his family was.
How do you forget?
Twice. 2 years in a row. At that point, you need to look into they put that young man in a home or something.
At this point, somebody else, because obviously you just don't care about me. So I'm gonna just.
Fun fact that I found out. You remember Fuller? So the little boy that was like that would wet the bed if he drank too much Pepsi.
I think
so.
The bell, but
well, like he wore glasses, like he looked like a nerd basically.
From Stuart Little.
No. From the first and second Home Alone.
I haven't seen that movie in so long. It's like it's ringing the bell. I don't know why I said Stuart Little.
I don't know why you said Stuart Little either.
Like you just said, had the big old glasses, and I was thinking he had big old glasses. Stuart Little? No? Okay.
Let's see if I can find him. Him? Oh. Background. Hold on. Him?
Gosh, I remember him. He was so adorable.
What I found out is that is Macaulay Culkin's actual brother. That's his blood brother.
Imagine acting with your blood brother. That's actually iconic. That's fire.
Right?
That's actually fire. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, Home Alone 2. What was my number 4? Number 4. So I guess we don't have to even. We know what your number 3 is.
Yeah, number 3 is. So I guess we're on. What's your number 3?
So this is where things start to get kind of, you know what I'm saying. Number 3. I am going to this, and this is why this thing was kind of hard. It was easy to figure out my 5 favorite like Christmas songs or whatever,
but not the movies.
Not the movies, because there's so many. There's so many, and like each, depending on how Christmassy I feel, determines of whether or not I want to watch them or not. But for my number 3, it's another Disney. So Disney used to have this show called Disney's House of Mouse.
I remember that, but then I don't remember that because that was so long ago, man. That's back when Disney
Opened up,
Disney was in its bag.
Mickey opened up. I don't even want to call it a club.
Mickey Mouse Clubhouse.
No, it was.
Oh,
How can I describe it?
why did I say Mickey Mouse Club?
Because I said club. So like Mickey kind of opened up. It's like this. I don't even want to. It was kind of like a club. Like it was kind of like just a nightclub.
Oh my goodness.
So
That sounds like the Goofy movies when his son went to college.
yeah. And so he opens up like this thing called the House of Mouse. It's like a little. It's like it was like a nightclub where you just saw all these other Disney characters, and they would just show shorts, like just Mickey shorts. So he did a special for Christmas, and it was called "Snowed In at the House of Mouse." The premise of that, it was like a blizzard, and they were stuck in there until they could clear away the snow. So they were just playing a bunch of old Christmas Mickey cartoons, and they did the story of Ebenezer Scrooge.
I know exactly what you're talking about. And when I say that was so fire, how they set that up,
Yeah, I loved that one.
the edits and the everything for this.
I remember as a kid when I would watch it, and they would do like they were doing like the Ghost of Christmas Past, Present, and Future. When he found the Ghost of Christmas Future, I think it was Pete. He had the little cigar, and he was like, "Yeah, bro, this is your grave." And he threw him in that jail. I remember as a kid, it didn't scare me, but it was just like, dang, that's kind of wild. Like he kind of just threw him in there. Like, he just threw him in his little.
I would be scared too. Like I live a full life just to be thrown. But he was cruel.
Right. Like then wakes up and then he's a changed man. I also had another one that was up for consideration. The first Santa Claus was also at my number 3.
That was the best one.
Yes.
That was the best one. Then they just dragged it on, and like I was like, I don't like it anymore.
Right. The second one I was okay with partially. The third one was just absolutely pointless.
The second one was Jack Frost, wasn't it?
That was the third one. The second one was when he had the clone Santa, like the little toy Santa.
Yeah, that one was cool. But then the third one, I did like how they did Jack Frost like costume design and makeup, but it wasn't a favorite.
Right. Martin Short, who played Jack Frost, I love Martin Short. He's hilarious, but it was just pointless to have that as a thing. The first Santa Claus was that's one of those things where I can watch that any point in Christmas. Tim Allen as Santa Claus, he just looked like what you would assume Santa Claus would look like once he turned into Santa.
Whoever did that casting really did an amazing job.
Tim Allen was perfect to play Santa. But people don't give Tim Allen enough credit in terms of how good of a kid actor he was. Like he did, and then offer everything he's done with Toy Story. Like they don't get set. And Tim Allen is really funny. His show was hilarious too.
Man, I wish people they act like that, but I really miss how it used to be back in the day growing up. It was just different. Everything was pure. It just seems so real and rare. So when you look at people like Viola Davis, Taraji P. Henson and stuff, Chadwick Boseman, rest in peace. When you see them, it's just like, wow.
Right.
And he's about to be in this upcoming movie with Viola Davis. I'm actually pretty upset about it because he's not
here. Oh yeah. It's like that's probably going to do really good because everyone's going to want to see it.
Oh no, I'm going to go see. Like, as soon as it drops, laptop closed, popcorn, pizza. We got some. I don't drink soda, so we got some apple juice on the side. I'll be just like this.
What'll it be streaming on? Like what?
December 18th on Netflix.
Now, the tough parts. The last two.
This one was actually really, really hard for me
Right.
just because I love both of these movies so much. It was in between,
So this is your number 2, right?
yes,
Yeah.
Polar Express or, then I gotta remember the name of it. Polar Express or, well, I just had it in my head. A Christmas Carol.
With Jim Carrey?
Yes. And I only say I'm in between those two because Tom Hanks was in the Polar Express. And then Jim Carrey, when he played the Grinch That Stole Christmas,
Yeah.
his acting is just, I don't even know how to explain it, but it's just with him, it's always out the box. It's never like you're never shocked. And it's just he really embodies his character. So
I talked about Jim Carrey and I talked about the Grinch as well on my last episode. And I was saying that Jim Carrey has an innate ability to take roles that in essence are actually really dark and really messed up, but because he's so funny, make him he can kind of like he can pull the rug over a lot of that stuff. And I was talking about a movie he did called, have you ever seen Me, Myself, and Irene?
yeah.
Yeah, like him being this guy, he's playing a guy who has schizophrenia, which is a legit mental disorder that can like youngins kill people who are schizophrenic, and
But he made it so
made it
funny.
made it so hilarious. Have you seen The Mask?
Yeah, bro.
Look,
The mask was so iconic for its time. It made no sense.
if you look up the actual because I started looking into like Norse mythology, like the actual stuff that the mask would have people do. In Norse mythology, if you wore that mask, you basically turned into a psychopath, and you were prone to like rage or killing people, which low key he did, but it was funny. So, like
It was just every time he would do something with the mask, because I know his dog had worn it at one time too, and he was trying to get the mask off his dog.
Right.
But his acting is just it's so, I stand it so much because he like it's these dark characters, but he embodies them to the point where I don't even think they're dark anymore. I won't even lie. When I first watched A Christmas Carol, I was scared. I couldn't finish it. I was so scared.
Mm-hmm.
I literally told my dad I didn't want to watch this anymore. Take me out the theater. That's how much it scared me, because imagine you're like 7 or 8 years old and you're just seeing all this stuff.
Yeah. 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 I understand.
I'm so scared.
Because even he did another one called Man on the Moon, which it was basically it was a biopic. But that was kind of like he really got into method acting, but he went too far over. So he literally lost himself playing this other person and became this other person. So after it was finished, he had to refigure out who he was as an actual person. So I get it.
He plays dark roles. I hope he's okay though, because
Well, so if you look at what he's into now, so he's very much in tune with himself in terms of his inner self and his surroundings. He's not in the spotlight anymore because one, he kind of doesn't really want to, and he's very much into spirituality and reality and things like that. And yeah, he's enlightened, I would say.
I mean, I would be too after playing how many dark roles back to back.
Yeah,
I need a break.
right. I get it. See, number 2, a tie between the Christmas Carol and the Polar Express. I remember when I first saw the Polar Express, I was in elementary school, and what made that movie so iconic for me, again, it was kind of the moment that I saw it, because I think we watched it right before we went on Christmas break.
Yeah, and y'all have that little Christmas party and stuff, and
Yo, that was like the best day ever.
the food, the little snacks.
These snacks and stuff, and then like the bell rings, so it's like, yeah, we're done for the year. Like, I'll see y'all after this. So, and that was just the animation. So great. So
I just did, at first I didn't understand it as a kid, and I still don't kind of understand it, but
I mean, like the kids get to go to the North Pole. Like what?
people kept on saying, yeah, they were kidnapped. I was like, kidnapped?
They willingly got on that train though. It wasn't like they were forced.
That's what I'm saying.
And then he brought them back.
Each and every one. I was just like, do y'all not ever meet again? And I'm actually glad they didn't make a part 2, but I feel like if they did make a part 2,
they wouldn't have needed to.
of them growing up like they did it.
They would have needed to. It would have ruined it. So my number 2. Elf. I started liking Elf maybe about 2-3 years ago. Because at first I really didn't get it. I'm like, okay, Will Ferrell was kind of hit and miss with me with a lot of stuff. He was in something I liked, and I think he was in something else that I thought was really stupid. And it would kind of just, he would just flip between those two. He would either do really good or really bad. The premise of Elf is so stupidly funny. Like, it's so dumb. It's hilarious. They have a grown man who thinks he's an elf. And because what I love about Will Ferrell so much, it does not matter what role he's in, he's going to fully commit.
That's the thing. Like in any role he's in, whether good or bad, one thing that man is going to do is commit to that role.
Going to commit, and he's going to commit to the joke. Like he's going to commit to the joke. So he's playing this elf who's positive all the time, and everything he's saying sounds like he's a child. But you believe Will Ferrell is like this big little kid.
I always believed he was a big little kid, but in reality, he is not a big little kid at all.
When you see him in Elf, it's like, yo,
it's kind of like, bro, you're serious, right?
Like you want to get so mad, you want to,
but you can't.
Can't because you're laughing too hard at how dumb this thing is. But yo, that was probably one of his best movies by far.
It was so iconic for its time.
And he also, so I also found this out. He turned down a lot of money to make a second one. I think the writer, either the writer or director, he didn't get along with one of them, so he turned down making a sequel.
I would have turned it down too.
Because not everything needs a sequel.
Not everything deserves a sequel. Like maybe just one or two, but that's it.
Like you don't need to make it not everything needs to be made a franchise.
Like the Avengers, that's a different story because they originally comic books and then they became, so that's a different story. Avengers needed that. They needed that. And that's the only one I will ever support.
So others like Harry Potter, The Lord of the Rings, made sense because those start out as great novels, and they decided to make those into films.
I actually might rewatch Harry Potter movies.
Stuff like
so long.
The Fast and the Furious franchise. like what's next? Like them youngers have to go to space. Like that's it. That's just the last thing they can do.
Bro, they should have ended when Paul Walker was no longer going to be in it, because I watched the out. Like I saw the one that he was participating in, like he was going to, like that he was in. Mm-hmm. That one was so good. And mind you, I've never seen a Fast and Furious movie ever. That was the first one I've seen. So I was confused, but so much stuff added up. Like they should have stopped after Paul Walker was no longer going.
Original Fast and Furious movies were based around racing. Yeah, they had like villains and other bad guys. Maybe there was some fights or some gun chasing, but at some point there was a race that was involved in a lot of this stuff.
Man, I won't even lie. They really did. They really gave a lot in the last one he was in.
Yeah.
But they shouldn't have made no more after that.
They shouldn't have. I think it's about to be 9. It was going to be 9 with the newest one.
I think they canceled it, right?
I don't know if they canceled it or they couldn't finish filming it or whatever. It was supposed to come out, I think, this year, but COVID.
I wasn't going to go see it, honestly.
I was.
I wanted to, but it's just since I seen the one with Paul Walker and that was the last one he was in, that's kind of where I ended it.
I say all this stuff, but I definitely was going to go see it. I didn't go see Hobbs and Shaw. I waited for that to come on. I waited for that to be free.
I wasn't going to go see that because it's just like he was the villain, and now y'all partnered up.
Right. That's dumb. I wasn't going to pay money. I wasn't going to pay money to see Dwayne Johnson and Jason Statham. As much as I love Dwayne Johnson, The Rock is my favorite wrestler, I could care less about Dwayne Johnson as an actor.
The Game Plan was probably one of my only favorite movies by him.
That said, Dwayne, if you're watching this, you know what I'm saying? Like maybe, just throw your boy a quick roll. You know what I'm saying? I'll suck it up. Up in a minute. You know what I'm saying? Like I still watch all your movies. I just.
You ever see what was that movie he was in? It was a franchise he was in, and it was like not Escape, but it was like they were going to these different types of like worlds or like different types of islands that were unknown.
You talking about Jumanji?
No, not Jumanji. It was another one he was in before that.
Center of the Earth?
Yeah.
Journey to the Center of the Earth?
Yeah. I'm not even gonna lie, I only like the first one.
We don't talk about that.
I only like the first one. Then they just did too much. And I was just like, bro, you just really ruined this movie.
Yeah, we don't talk about the Journey to the Center of the Earth. The only Dwayne Johnson films I would talk about would be The Game Plan, The Gridiron Gang, and The Game Plan again.
The Game Plan is the only movie I'll talk about with Dwayne Johnson because he just did, I don't know what happened, but he just really did amazing.
Because that one was fine. Like that one was fine. I think Disney ran that one, which was the best thing. I think it was a Disney movie.
It was.
Dawn.
Yes.
Of your number one Christmas.
Ready for it? Drum roll, please. The Nightmare Before Christmas. That's your number one too? That's your number one?
Oh, not at all. Not at all. But keep going, please. What?
It's not your number one.
It's not my number one. It's not even on my top 10.
What?
I've never seen it. I was never into Halloween anything. No. And it's technically Halloween Christmas. I'm sorry. I really am. Viewers, I really am sorry. I'm probably gonna lose all of my subscribers. Dawn. 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 What is it? Dawn?
I'm sorry. I have to process that for a second.
What do you mean you have to process it? What is there to process?
Never seen it.
I never had an interest because it was like, it seems like they were blending Halloween with Christmas. So it was like, why?
Have you never seen the Tim Burton movie?
I have seen I've seen Tim Burton movies.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm
Did that hurt you a little bit? I'm really sorry. I really am.
It's okay. Okay. Oh, I'm good. I'm not gonna cry. I'm gonna cry later. But The Nightmare Before Christmas is my number one pick based off the simple fact is two of my holidays put together.
Right.
I love Christmas and I love Halloween. And I love Halloween so much just because I can dress up and, really show my creativity. And then he was trying to do Christmas, but he was a Halloween king. It was fun to watch. And especially the iconic part where my bug guy was singing, Yeah, it's my favorite.
Okay, so 'cause I would always see clips, and I know a lot of people that go to bat for this movie. I have no issue with it being your favorites, right? But you know that whole I don't like really follow anything Halloween related, so that was kind of like the biggest turnoff. The premise of it wasn't didn't he like pretend to be Santa Claus?
Yeah.
And what did he do?
He tried to deliver presents from his Halloween world, and then they started attacking people. But it was funny.
What? That doesn't sound funny.
That it was so funny.
What? How is that funny?
Because it was like he was giving them gifts thinking they were Christmas gifts, but they weren't Christmas gifts. And then the girl that was trying to warn him, he wouldn't listen. So when it all backfired, he got Santa Claus back, and then Santa Claus got them gifts and gave the girl and the guys and the families the right gifts.
Did he give the dude a gift in the end?
I can't remember. I think so, but it was iconic for its time.
Name, like the main dude, what was his name?
Jack.
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 Right.
Kind of like Jack the Reaper.
Just now, I've liked Tim Burton's I saw The Corpse Bride.
My favorite.
I like that one, and then what he did with the Batman franchise, I was cool with that. I've never been into I've just never been into the Halloween thing. So when I saw it was like Halloween, Christmas. I have.
He said.
I get it was like Jesus.
It's not as bad as you think, though. I'll be 100% honest with you.
In this year, I'll watch it. I'll watch it this year. Please. You heard it here, folks.
You see my eyes. I'm a little hurt.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it.
Very hurt.
We can Disney Plus watch it together.
Okay, that's cool. Oh yeah, and if you all didn't know, Big Mouth season 4 dropped on Netflix.
I saw a few episodes of that, and I was not amused. I didn't like it at all. I don't like raunchy stuff, and that one was kind of like it was kind of like there. I get it. I would say it's relatable, but
it's okay. I get half people. Some people say that they do. They say it's like okay, but it's not like.
Like I said, I watched a few episodes, so I didn't just see it and was saying I'm not gonna watch that. I don't like it. I gave it an honest try.
Okay, at least you gave that an honest try, but not The Nightmare Before Christmas.
I followed along with it. I knew what was going on, but yeah, it was. I didn't laugh. More so, I was just like, "Yo, what? They can't say that."
Yeah, I just be like, that's the whole thing. I don't know why I love watching it. Just be like, yo, you can't say that, and you still said it.
I was like, yo, like
why did you say it? And I just be like, oh my God, you actually said it.
Can't do that. Like, why are you? Oh wow. But
so we're waiting for the question I had. What is your number one pick?
Well, I feel like now it's like I automatically have like this pre-notion judgment coming from you. Because I haven't seen The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
But my number one Christmas movie is How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Not bad. I second it.
Well, so we're okay with that one. Is that
we're okay? We're okay with that one because that was like my number 2.
Right.
I think that was no. It wasn't on my list, but it's like on my top 10 for a fact.
Yeah. Because we were talking about Jim Carrey before.
Yeah, because of A Christmas Carol.
Yeah, that's where it came from. How the Grinch Stole Christmas is something that I used to watch with my sisters a lot. So not my blood sisters, but my sisters.
Mm-hmm.
All of us, so me, my sisters, and my brother included, have this. If we watch something enough times, we can quote the whole thing.
See, I quote the whole thing as y'all watch it.
Yes, because we've watched it that many times, and it makes it that much more funny.
Wait, do y'all do the?
Dude, we literally do that. I could call them. I could call one of them right now, and I could yell out like if it's 8 o'clock, only 4 hours till Christmas.
Oh my gosh, I really do know the movie.
And they would bust out. We would all bust out laughing. Like that one would do it for us every time. Like that movie did it for us every time. We could quote that thing backwards and front. And I can't really say there's anything wrong with it. Obviously, I mean, the makeup was kind of funny, but
I'm not even gonna lie, the makeup creeped me out. So I'd be like,
really, was it because of the noses? Was it because of like how their noses were set up?
I didn't like the noses. They reminded me of rats, and I don't like rats.
That's fair. That's fair. But I get
I don't like rats. No, not funny. Okay.
they tried to make them look like how they looked in the book. Like you know how in the book
They look like rats, and I didn't. It was creepy. I said, "Oh no! Y'all did not just bring a rat human alive. They were basically rats and mouses and stuff." I was like, "Look, Dr. Seuss, I love your books, but whoever did this movie and this costume design, get your refund back from the grave."
They're who's. You can't really say what they are. They're who's. That's what they are. And then they had like the weird like lower body halves. Like it's like they had mad hips for whatever
I
reason.
know one girl, she didn't have a nose.
Ooh.
The daughter.
Yeah, it was just real small. She ain't developed into it yet. She had a nose.
It was like,
Yeah, it was real. She ain't
human.
She ain't grow into it. Yeah, I love that one. That was just great.
I respect it, even though I'm still offended.
I'm gonna watch it, y'all. Like I promise, I'm gonna watch it. I promise, I'm gonna watch it. Favorite. So we're at the end of our list. And this is kind of just a general.
I'm disappointed.
What is your favorite Christmas tradition?
It used to be opening presents, but now it's more of the driving. It was one time when I was probably 16 years old, 16, 17 years old, and no, 15, 16 years old. And my brother he was able to borrow my mom's car. And one thing about me, my brother, and my little sister, we all have basically the same kind of music taste. So we listen to everything.
So I didn't, let alone a younger sister. I didn't know this.
Yeah, I have a little sister and an older brother. So I'm the middle child.
I'm actually the youngest.
The youngest are the most spoiled. But they say middles are the most spoiled.
Are the most what?
Spoiled.
For the most part. Yeah, I can't deny it. However, I want to do stuff for myself, but nobody ever lets me. It's like,
baby, we're not gonna let you.
Trying to get, but it's like if you do stuff like that, then how can I not be spoiled if I'm trying not to be, but y'all keep doing everything. It's like y'all don't let us do what we want to do.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
You know what I'm saying? Like I could tell all the stories about the stuff I couldn't do growing up.
I was the middle child, so I was in between, kind of could, kind of couldn't, This was like my first big thing. You see how I do that? No.
I think my first big thing was probably dyeing my hair.
That was amazing. That was a good transition. I was really proud.
I dyed my hair for the first time.
Yeah. Well, tradition. So we were just in a car, but it was so different. Just, we all were in a car and he was playing music and he put me on to some Kid Cudi because the album had just dropped and he was playing, it was a song with him and Andre 3000. And it was so fire. And that's my favorite tradition, going out with my brother and little sister. I don't know if we can do that this year because of COVID, but we used to do that all the time, every Christmas.
Are you going to go to the Festival of Lights?
Yeah, I want to go back again. I think we might as well just do that Christmas since, we can't really be with family this year. So
I was telling my friend I was telling my friend literally the lights are almost the exact same every year, but I get just as excited every single year.
I've gone there every year as a kid.
It is like it's the best thing every time you go, right? Like,
and they have something new. They have a talking tree. I know, a music tree. that plays music, and the speaker is so loud.
I'm excited. I'm excited.
My favorite one was the craft one.
I'm going probably after my finals, so I know it's nothing I have to worry about now.
Yeah, I can't wait till I can really just submit my last assignment without having to rely on my guidance.
Like, listen, like, it don't make no sense. Like, I'm ready for it to be over.
So much.
So much.
So much.
Goodness gracious.
Don't even get me started with how much I'm ready for this semester to be over, because I feel like that's when I'm actually going to cry. Like, I'm actually going to really cry.
I believe it. Surprisingly, I didn't cry this semester. I cried last semester.
Me too. It was just at one point where I was just like, I can't take it anymore. The GPA was a 3.6 though, but I did cry. I was just like, I can't do this online school no more.
I got a 3.5 and I cried, yo. I think I cried when I saw that it was a 3.5 because I was just really surprised. I had never gotten a 3.
I was like, I can't take this no more, man. I can't do this again.
Right. So literally, I said this. Once I saw it, it was like I gathered myself maybe like an hour later. I was like, all right, cool. I got a 3.5. I'm probably not getting that again, and I'm fine with it.
But hopefully Professor Bartlett grades these essays soon, so if I didn't do that great on them, I can resubmit them for a better grade.
Right. Well, guys, this is the end of it. Dawn, where can the people find you? What do you have coming up? What are you working on?
All right, so guys, in the next 26 days, I plan to bring my YouTube back from quarantine YouTube to now an official, professional, updated, perfect to just how I like it YouTube. My YouTube name is Dior Day. See, I did change it because most of y'all saw it as Adore Day. That was Dior Day. Feel me? No, you don't feel me? But you know, so that's what I plan on doing. You can also contact me on social media under the platforms of Dior Day on Instagram, and it's not day like today, it's like day like DAE. I know my name is Dawn. I don't know where Day came from. I just like Day, you know, that's kind of like my alter ego, Day over Dawn. Feel me? No, you don't feel me? No. But yeah, my Twitter is Adore Day, but my Twitter name is Dior Day. So if you adore Day, you got a Dior Day. Feel me?
I feel you.
Yeah. So that's the only platforms I use. I am not on Snapchat because Twitter has Fleet and Instagram has Instagram stories. So yeah.
Wait, Twitter has what?
Twitter has Fleet stories.
You can do Twitter stories now?
Mm-hmm.
Jeez,
I don't post on there as much though because I post on Instagram more.
I deleted my Twitter over a year ago.
Wow, you're missing it, man. It's lit.
I don't think I am. I had plenty of reasons to delete my Twitter. I was just like, because I deleted my Twitter back in like February of 2019.
Wow.
So that's almost like 2 years.
That is 2 years.
Oh yeah. It was just a bunch of stupid people that I would see, fake woke people, and Twitter porn. And I got really tired of seeing all of that.
Yeah, I don't really see that. It's more of a open kind of thing for me now.
Yeah.
Everything.
It was just some toxic content that I saw, and I just got tired of it. Yeah. It wasn't doing anything good for my spirituality.
Toxic content because sometimes they pop up, and I just be like, I wish I could find all those pages and just put it on mute.
Yeah, it was disrupting my peace. So I had to.
It's so funny. Like it does bring my spirits up when I'm sad, but so many people just vent on there, and it makes no sense at all.
Instagram does that for me. I'm fine with just having Instagram. I don't even have Snapchat anymore.
I don't either. I don't like Snapchat. I never did.
Yeah, like I'm good where I'm at. YouTube and Instagram.
That's it. YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter for me.
Yeah. Well, with that, Dawn, thank you so much. Guys, if you like Dawn, she'll be back. If you don't like Dawn, she'll be back. So I hate to
either way, I will be back. Hate is gonna hate, but that motivates me.
So that, thank you, Dawn.